this, lads. But it's been revealed with Sophie Cunningham. Fever wing Sophie Cunningham was fined twice for behaviour at the end of the clash, but her misconduct appears to be already paying dividends. She received a $400 fine, as well as an additional undisclosed penalty for her role in the shoving match that followed. It's probably not more than $1,000.
WNBA just dropped Sophie Cunningham, and trust me, fans are not letting this slide quietly. Imagine WWE-level chaos mashed with a Bravo-style meltdown. Yep, it's that intense. So, what exactly did Sophie do to spark this firestorm? Why is the league acting like she slashed their tires? And why are fans now rallying behind what can only be described as a glitter-fueled rebellion? Buckle up, this drama's got more twists.
Caitlin Clark to the ground after she's slashed in the eye by one player, rushed by another. Like, I can clearly see why some of y'all teams in the WNBA are just not successful, bro. Like, y'all don't know how to act. We just gonna call it for what it is. Y'all don't know how to act. Like, there's basketball stuff, and then there's just completely playing.
The WNBA figured dropping Sophie Cunningham would shut things down, like booting the only girl at the sleepover who brought snacks. Huge mistake. Instead, they ignited a full-blown movement. Fans didn't whine. They didn't back down. They went straight into revenge mode, modern outrage style. Their weapon: merch. Every Sophie Cunningham jersey disappeared off shelves faster than logic.
Everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin Clark. She did all of these.
Sophie was getting the cold shoulder like she'd crashed the WNBA's exclusive Cool Girls Only party. The next, she became the Taylor Swift of the court. Her jersey wasn't just selling, it was vanishing. Even resale sites were on fire, with fans dropping cash usually reserved for Beyoncé tickets or endless brunch mimosas. Overnight, Sophie's name skyrocketed from a stat sheet afterthought to a full-blown cultural icon, faster than
selling out. How cool is that for your...
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates. And that's all part of it. I think all that stuff it's fun and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we need to win some basketball games. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think.
All this for what? For the crime of refusing to turn into a statue while her teammate Caitlin Clark was being hunted like open-season prey? Apparently, standing up for your teammate now counts as a technical foul if it rattles the league's favorite troublemakers. Somehow, we've entered an era where showing integrity and composure...
What the WNBA trying to do to Sophie Cunningham? I love Sophie Cunningham because at the end of the day, you supposed to, how I was taught, and me growing up playing sports, we protecting each other, bro. At the end of the day, all for one, one for all. So look, you think I'm gonna keep allowing you to beat up on my teammate and my teammate playing clean ball, but you trying to poke. Y'all literally been beating this girl up, pushing her on the floor, pulling her hair, poking her in the eye. You hear me? That's dangerous.
Sophie didn't throw a punch. She didn't start a riot. She simply stood up, and in the upside-down world of WNBA officiating, that's somehow more offensive than the actual fouls being committed. You'd think she'd drop-kicked a mascot or stolen a Gatorade cooler, the way she was marched off the court. But no, the only crime she committed was standing by a teammate who's been a moving target all season. Cunningham didn't just become a symbol, she became a brand. A living, breathing contradiction to everything the league seems to reward. She didn't play dirty. She didn't trash talk. She didn't send anyone flying with an elbow. She stood tall. And somehow, that was enough to get tossed. If composure
are run, seeing how things are done, and after you've seen what it looks like to get it right, and you come in and see something looking really wrong, you're going to call it out. It is what it is. You're going to be critical of players. If they do something shady or classless, you're going to call that out. That's what fans do. And it's not hate or any of that other crap that Kathy Engelbert wants to cook up to try to suppress free speech. Nah, we're not getting down with that. All right? So,
Anyway, it's clear the league's priorities are locked in. Keep things messy. Just make sure it's not your mess. But the fans, they saw right through it. They didn't need a press release or a forced apology. What they needed was a jersey with Sophie's name on it, and they needed it yesterday. Because this wasn't just about fabric or logos. It was about flipping the bird to a system that punishes the wrong people. Buying that jersey wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a statement. A rallying cry. Retail rebellion at its finest, and fact, the WNBA may have accidentally created the most expensive protest in league history. Every swipe of a card for that jersey was a vote of no confidence. A raised eyebrow at the absurdity. A middle finger, embroidered in stitching. Cunningham's name wasn't just on a roster anymore. It was on receipts. In headlines. Etched into the memory of every fan who's had enough. Because if there's one thing fans can't stand, it's hypocrisy dressed up as discipline, especially when it's so blatant you can spot it from the nosebleeds. Sophie didn't lash out. She didn't escalate. She simply stood her
between J.C. Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up. Finally fed up. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now, and we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly.
Fading into the background, Sophie exploded into relevance. The jersey sales didn't just skyrocket, they launched into orbit. Sophie might have left the game early, but her popularity played all 4 quarters, and then went into overtime. She became the face of quiet resistance, of unapologetic loyalty, of a clear no, I'm not sitting down while my teammate gets mauled like she owes someone money. The league's message was loud and clear, conform or face the consequences. But the fans? They sent their own message, not today. They turned a disciplinary ruling into a marketing campaign, a quiet moment of solidarity into a streetwear sensation. And the best part? They didn't need to say a word, just a click, a shirt, a subtle but stylish, we see what you did, and we're not having it. Now, every time someone walks into an arena rocking a Sophie Cunningham jersey, they're not just supporting a player, they're rewriting the rules. They're reminding the WNBA that fans aren't blind. And they're definitely not spineless. If standing with a teammate gets you thrown out, then fine, make room. Because from the looks of it, Sophie's got a whole stadium of backup. The WNBA is tap dancing dangerously close to irrelevance, and the music's about to stop. The league is a hot mess, a flaming casserole of bad decisions, missed opportunities, and a never-ending highlight reel of Caitlin Clark getting tossed around like she wandered.
At the end of the game, J.C. Sheldon is going for a fast break layup, and Sophie Cunningham is running with her. And I remember in my head, like, it happened in a split second, and I said, oh, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Sophie commits a hard foul on J.C. Sheldon. Again, as J.C. Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion.
This was supposed to be season 2 of the Caitlin Clark era. A fresh start, a new vibe, maybe even a little respect sprinkled in like Parmesan on pasta. Instead, we got the same chaos, just turned up louder, with an extra helping of elbows. And it's not just rough, it's practically criminal. Caitlin can't get through 2 possessions without someone trying to introduce her to the hardwood. Accidentally, of course. She gets pushed around more than a broken shopping cart at a discount store. If defenders spent half the time on their actual assignments instead of auditioning for American Gladiators, WNBA edition, maybe we'd be watching basketball instead of a live-action physics lesson on momentum and blunt force. The league had a chance, the chance, to take this rare generational talent and build something electric. Caitlin is a walking brand deal, a human highlight reel, one of the few players whose mere presence gets people to actually turn on the TV. That's not shade to the rest of the league, it's just math. But instead of protecting this asset, the league is letting her be the crash test dummy in every single game, like it's some twisted hazing ritual only the cool kids understand. And the physicality? It's not gritty. It's not edgy. It's ridiculous. If Caitlin makes it through a game without bruises that look like abstract art, it's a miracle. But sure, let's keep talking about letting them play, while ignoring the fact that no one else is getting bulldozed with this level of intensity. It's like there's a special clause in the league's playbook titled How to Pretend Clark Doesn't Deserve Basic Human Rights.
Like, Sophie might have wanted a piece of JC after the Caitlin Clark and JC kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened, okay? The fast break, you see Sheldon taking it. After getting a steal, Sophie wraps her arms around her. Now, this is normal, okay? In my opinion, this is normal. This is a hard foul. She just didn't want her to get a shot up on the fast break, send her to the line. She just grabbed